Do you dread it when it's time to cut your dog's nails? Does it turn into a hot mess for both you and your dog? There's a better way. You can teach your dog to be calm and stress-free while getting those nails done. That makes it a much better process for both of you. I'm gonna teach you how to do that today, and you can look forward to much more pleasant nail trims in the future. Now this video is gonna go a bit deeper than most you've seen on YouTube, so stick with me because this could make or break your dog's nail trimming for life. And I also want to share with you some important safety tips when it comes to this important task too. Michelle here with How to Train a Dream Dog. First, let's address why I'm even making this video. I mean, most of you have small enough dogs, you could probably just use the grab 'em and get her done approach, right? Well, maybe you've already been muddling through with a process of your own. Well, we 100% do not recommend that grab and get her done method. Going against your dog's wishes when it comes to body handling could lead to distrust, lack of cooperation when it comes to things like recall and leash skills, and an overall breakdown of your relationship. We recommend you use cooperative care when doing nail trims. Now, this approach actually teaches your dog to say yes or no and helps the owner recognize when the dog has had enough. I know that might sound a little over the top to some of you, and maybe you're even saying, but he's just a dog. Yes, he is a dog, but he has a unique preference just like you do, and it's your job as his owner to help him fit into your human world. So with just a little training together and paying close attention to body language, you can have a much more pleasant interaction for this task that your dog will need for a lifetime. Now, I want you to follow a technique called cooperative care. So cooperative care is a fear-free approach following the principles of LIMA, which means least intrusive and minimally aversive. So Deb Jones wrote a great book about cooperative care that I follow with all of the body handling of my dogs. And when it comes to dog training, trust is broken with negative interactions such as threats, force, fear, and punishment. That's what's happening in the grab and get her done method. It is not necessary to teach or handle your dogs in that way. Equally effective, safer, and more humane alternatives exist and have been proven to be successful. That's why I make videos like this one, to teach you guys about the other alternatives and why it's so beneficial for the dog and for your relationship. So before we get to the cooperative care part, let's just get a little sciencey and understand about this canine body part. So in order to make this as comfortable as possible for your dog, you need to know about the anatomy of a nail. So if you accidentally cut too short and you cause pain, you're gonna have a pretty big setback in your dog's comfort and his trust in the process and in you. The nail is made up of the bone, the outer shell, the inner shell, the live tissue, and the quick and the pulp. And when you're cutting, we suggest you use the confetti approach. Now this means that you're snipping off tiny little pieces of the nail, bit by bit, before you get to that blood vessel. Next, let's get your supply list together. You're gonna wanna have nail clippers, some high value treats. Usually these are the ones that are more moist. You'll need a nail file or a grinder if your dog is comfortable with that. And I recommend styptic powder or cornstarch if you don't have it. You're gonna use this in case you do cut the quick to minimize the bleeding. You'll also wanna choose a very quiet location in your home for this task. And if you have a young puppy, you want to think about his wake window or the time in between naps. Try to do body handling tasks like this in the middle of a wake window, when he's not too energized from his last nap and he's not too tired getting ready for the next nap. There are a lot of different kinds of nail trimmers. The nail clippers, the guillotine nail trimmer, and a motorized nail grinder. A nail scratch board is another option, but this one definitely requires some extra training because the dog's gonna need to do most of the work by scratching their own nails on the board. Now, I use clippers and a Dremel, and only after my dogs have been trained to have a positive association with the tool, the sound and the vibration. I used an electric toothbrush to get my dogs used to the tool before I even introduced the Dremel. Now, I don't use the round hole designed clippers where you actually have to insert the nail into the mechanism. I've actually seen too many situations of nails getting stuck, or if your dog pulls away suddenly, you're holding it at a specific angle, it can actually get caught and create a negative association with that nail trimming. This would really undo all the hard work to desensitize of this process. Okay, so you've got the right tools, you've picked the right time of day, and you're in a quiet location in your home. Do you think you're ready yet? Nope, not quite. Before we get started trimming, we actually have to introduce the tools to our dog. Remember, we're not aiming to get her done as fast as possible. And this doesn't mean showing her the tool and then cutting away. Just like we showed you in this video about brushing your dog, you want to take this really slow. So it's good to start this well before you actually need to trim the nails. New puppy owners, I'm counting on you to get started on the right paw. Those of you with older dogs can definitely use these same techniques, but if your dog already has a negative association with this process, it's just going to take a little bit longer. I'll help you guys a little more later in this video. Now, while introducing these tools, you have to pay close attention to the dog's body language. If it feels like you're going painstakingly slow, you're going at the right pace. And as part of that video on brushing your dog, we start with simply showing the tool to the dog and offering treats. After a few sessions of that, and if the dog's body language indicates he's okay with it, we move the tool closer and eventually touching the dog's paw and then the nail. From there, we build up to touching for longer periods of time with the noise and the vibration and eventually cutting a nail. This process could take days, weeks, or months. It really depends on your dog and especially any past history with this process. Did you catch what I said about eventually cutting a nail? A single nail, not plural. I know it's in your human DNA to want to cut all 10 nails all at once, but this might not be the best thing for your dog. It is just fine to cut one nail a day for 10 days in a row. In fact, that might be one of the easiest ways to help your dog tolerate it. By doing it in micro doses where he doesn't really notice or care, this can be helpful. Of course, the more you can pair it with a tasty treat, the more he will be convinced as well. Raise your paw if you are loving this stuff. I hope you find it helpful. My team and I, we work really hard to put these videos together for you each week. And if you appreciate it, show your thanks by subscribing to the channel, sharing it with a friend, or leaving us a super thanks. Okay, so if you've done your desensitization work, now's the time to cut that nail. When you're holding your dog's paw, I want you to keep the paws low to the ground. Never raise your dog's leg higher than would be comfortable. A lot of people accidentally raise the dog's legs too high, causing pain, discomfort, and a negative association with the task. Now I want you to keep that leg moving forward and backward with the dog's mobility, not just pulling it to the right or to the left. I also want you to do this on a non-slip surface. Sometimes the task itself isn't unpleasant for the dog, but something happens during it, like a slip. So just stack the deck for success and try to make the entire environment one that won't create accidents. And be sure to have those treats ready. Now, I'd like you to avoid restraining the dog if at all possible. And if you've done your cooperative care and desensitization work, the dog should be perfectly content to stay put for the nail trims. Restraining him could make it worse, and his opposition reflex kicks in. Now, the more we force a dog and take away their ability to opt in or out, the more negative association we create, which has a lifelong consequence. Now, I want you to imagine how they do foot care for an elephant at the zoo. I don't have to imagine it. I've actually seen it, and it's not using force or restraints. Using force is not very easy with an elephant. Now, they care for elephants' feet by offering something that the elephant loves. And they've practiced it so much that the elephant offers his foot willingly. Cooperative care and fear-free training is not new, but is only now starting to gain traction in the training world. Now, when it comes to nail trims, shortest is not always best. It doesn't need to look like a stub, which would be too short and painful for the dog to even walk on. But if it's too long, it could also cause pain and discomfort. The dog will then naturally change how his foot moves, which is an increased risk for injury. If the nail gets really long, it can actually grow back into the pad, causing severe infection and pain. Puppy nails normally need to be trimmed every 2 to 3 weeks, but adult dogs usually need it every 4 to 6 weeks, and this depends a lot on activity. And if your dog enjoys lots of walks on sidewalks, the nails will naturally file a little bit on their own. Now, when using the nail clipper, I want you to pick which nail you're going to start with and try to separate it gently from the others. You may need to push the longer fur out of the way if your puppy has fuzzy feet. Next, add gentle pressure to the underside of the nail on the pad to extend the nail for easier access with the nail trimmer. Place the nail clipper on the nail at about a 45-degree angle and make small trims at a time. That's that confetti approach I mentioned earlier. And if you can, shine a light on the opposite side of the nail to see where the quick is. Sorry if you have a dog with black nails, this isn't gonna work for you. But what happens if you accidentally cut the quick of the nail? Well, you can use that styptic powder I mentioned earlier. And if you don't have this powder, cornstarch will also work. Then you're going to want to limit your dog's movements until the quick has stopped bleeding. Now, this might be a good time for a nice frozen Kong in the crate or a puppy pen. All right, I think we've got some great tips for you in this video, but for those of you who are tuning in with a pup who already hates the nail trims, here's some advice for you. Now, you might find the nail board to be a great option, where you teach the dog to file his own nails. Now, like I mentioned earlier, walking on pavement can also help keep nails filed. And for you, I definitely recommend finding a fear-free certified groomer to work with. Now, these groomers have gone through extra training designed to recognize stress and back off when they see it. Do you want to know who I don't recommend? Your vet. Sorry. I'm sure he or she is fine with medical issues, but they aren't my first choice when it comes to nail trims, unless they are fear-free certified. Most dogs are used to seeing the vet when they're fearful and already off on a bad start. In addition, vets are typically trained to restrain the dog instead of working with the dog. Now, they don't have a lot of time and aren't usually able to wait for a calm and relaxed emotional state before they start their work. There are a lot of other options instead of your vet. So if you've heard all of this and you're still thinking, wow, this seems like a lot of work, are you sure I can't just grab them and get it done? My answer is, I'm sure. You see, positive reinforcement training also comes with a commitment to positive interactions when it comes to body handling. And since you know that dogs learn best from reward and reinforcement, not punishment and fear, then this will naturally be part of the nail trim too. And if you're still not sure that a little punishment here or there isn't the right way to go, I want you to check out this video next. It goes right along with what we're teaching today, and it will convince you that positive reinforcement and cooperative care training is the best and most ethical way to train your dog. Okay, are you ready to start the nail trimming process? Do you have any more questions for me? Pop them in the comments or let me know how it went after using these awesome tips. This is Michele Lennon, your favorite online trainer and puppy expert, signing off.